because it nullifies your wudu, the madhi. Are we together? So number one, he's mentioned that anything that comes out from the private parts, be it the front or the back side, the back. The second one he mentions is sleep in a non-firm posture. If you sleep normally, and if you sleep while seated down like this, there is a difference. It's hard for you to break your wudu by passing out air if you're seated like this firmly on the ground. So if someone sits like this and ends up sleeping a bit, or even sleeps further, does it break his wudu? No. But if he sleeps while his bottom is not firmly on the ground or like this seated properly, then that also breaks his wudu. Are we together? So number one is anything that comes out from the private parts, be it the front or the back. Number two is sleeping or sleep in a non-firm posture. Number three is loss of consciousness. If a person, let's start with a natural way of losing consciousness. One, a person faints, drops down and faints. What happens? He doesn't know, has he passed air or not? Anything can be happening while he's in his state of unconsciousness. Then what happens? His wudu is also nullified. Due to maybe this person lost his consciousness naturally, or due to intoxication also. That's why when a person is intoxicated, they can do things that when they are not intoxicated, they never fathom that they could have done this thing, right or wrong. And that's why they say, for example, taking alcohol is the mother of all bad deeds, because it makes you do things that you wouldn't have done it if you were in a sound mind, in a normal state of mind. Number three, illness. If a person became sick, we mentioned that's a natural way of fainting. Also, another way of losing unconsciousness is if a person, just 1 minute. Allah understand. Also, when a person is in a state of in Arabic it's called banj, in English it will be called what? Anesthesia. You lose your unconsciousness, right? When haven't you seen the videos of if a person has come out from a surgery, they start talking things we don't expect. They start even proposing to someone who is not ready to get married to. You get my point? So those things happen. You might even give out secrets that you should have been given out. So that's why the anesthesia also makes you lose your consciousness. Then that also necessitates you to do wudu. And any other reason why a person can lose his unconsciousness, be it maybe because that person has a condition such as, in Swahili they call, I don't know in English what is it called, but it's called kifafa in Swahili. Epilepsy, right? That also, a person loses their consciousness. They're not themselves. That's why they fall down and whatever happens to them and all those things. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us from all these diseases and any sicknesses, and may Allah grant us the best in this dunya and akhirah. Number 4 is a man touching a non-mahram woman. Mark this part, a non-mahram woman of desiring age, skin to skin without a barrier, even if she is deceased. Are we together? A man touching another a woman, or vice versa. A man touching a non-mahram woman of a desiring age, skin to skin without a barrier, even if she is deceased. Mind you on this, remember this, that the reason people say, when you say in that ayah, when it's mentioned أَوْ لَامَسْتُمُ النِّسَاءَ فَلَمْ تَجِدُوا مَاءً, it's mentioned nisa. The tafsir, when you go deeper in it, there it means being intimate. Are we together on this? So if you are married, you have a spouse, you made wudu, does she break your wudu? La. What will break your wudu if you be intimate with her, or maybe even if you have a romantic feeling which brought up desires and all those things, that can break your wudu. The dalil that this doesn't, your spouse does not break your wudu is when the Prophet ﷺ was in itikaf, for example. He would sit next to his house and his wife would braid his hair. Do you get my point here? The question comes, is it allowed to braid your hair? Yeah, you can braid your hair, like the way the Swahili they call it kusonga nywele. But be mindful of where you're living. Are people used to that or not? If people are not used to it, don't do it, even if it's allowed, to avoid what? Unnecessary attention, unnecessary talks. Because we, in our society, we know that whoever does those things and whoever braids his hair and all those things, we know that this person is a person muta, they call it amani mutua, they call it what? A person who enjoys out and all those things. It's a societal thing. It's not part of our society where people braid their hair. Men, I'm talking about men. Huh? So, is it allowed though? Yes, if a person has long hair and if you see them, they've braided, don't say, hey, haram, haram and all that. Don't jump into conclusion, you don't know. You might say, وَلَا تَقُولْ لِمَا تَصِفُ أَلْسِنَتُكُمُ الْكَذِبَ هَذَا حَلَالٌ وَهَذَا حَرَامٌ لِتَفْتَرُوا عَلَى اللَّهِ الْكَذِبِ. Do not say what is halal, what is haram, and saying something about what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not said. So you're making things haram and halal and you don't know about it. This is a very, very important or very crucial thing to take note of. Number 5 now, coming to the 5th thing that touch... no. See if it at the end. We'll ask inshallah. The 5th one is touching the human private part, front or back sphincter, with the palm of the hand, your own or someone else's, live or dead. This specifically refers to the inner surface of the hand and fingers. Without, remember this part, without without a barrier. There is with a barrier and without a barrier. So if you touch your private part or anyone else's private part, be it alive or deceased, without a barrier, you break your wudu. Are we together? If you had done that through a barrier, for example, through over your clothes and all that, then the issue is different here. It doesn't break your wudu. Don't think that I was setting up my trouser well and all that. I ended up, touching my crotch or something. Then I ended up. The Sheikh said that it breaks your wudu. There is a barrier. If you did it without a barrier, then you break your wudu. Like your palm, this part of hand touches your private part. Yes, that breaks your wudu. And these things, for example, people have to be careful. If you have done one of these two, three things, everything that breaks, that needs you to be in the state of wudu, you're not allowed to do. For example, touching a Quran, doing tawaf, praying, salah. What else do you need wudu to do the ibadah? Tawaf, salah, touching of the Quran. Number 4. What else do you need wudu with? La. Yeah, that's what it is, tawaf, yes. Those are 3 things, the main things. Are we together? So, you won't be able to do those deeds, those ibadahs if you're not in the state of wudu, if you've done one of these 5 things. And the last one is, in another narration they say apostasy is often listed as the 6th one in a person leaving the fold of Islam. So if a person became a murtad and he left the fold of Islam and then decided, I want to be back as a Muslim, you've broken your wudu. You have to do wudu again. May Allah protect us from such such acts. So we are done with what nullifies wudu. We've mentioned 6. We've mentioned 6. Now we're getting into causes of ghusl, major ritual bath. 6 things also necessitate ghusl. Now this is another topic, right below it, things that necessitates ghusl. Before we continue, the question was part of the wudu part or no? Okay. Yes. Yeah. We are talking. We're in the Shafi'i part. I will give you guys the conclusion of other madhabs if we can, inshallah. Yeah. For Shafi'i, he mentioned that non-mahram is the one that breaks wudu. And majority of ulama, they're up for that. Your wife doesn't break your wudu. Majority of them. Majority of ulama say that your wife doesn't break your wudu. But it will break when you do what? You're becoming romantics and romantic. If you, sorry, we have to talk about these things. It's very important. All right. Otherwise, tomorrow it might disturb you. Such a topic might disturb you. Hugging or kissing your wife and khalas, you leave. But now, if it gets to another stage and all that, when you get yourself worked up and all those things, that's a different case. And intimacy, that's a totally different kabsa. All right. So now we're getting into the causes of ghusl, yani major ritual bath. 6 things necessitate ghusl. Bismillah. We'll get into that. Good question. Inshallah. Aye, continue.
والذي يوجب الغسل 6 أشياء 3 تشترك فيها الرجال والنساء وهي التقاء الختانين وإنزال المني والموت و3 تختص بها النساء وهي الحيض والنفاس والولادة.
Repeat the last 3 parts.
و3 تختص بها النساء وهي الحيض والنفاس والولادة.
All right. So these 6 things necessitates doing ghusl. Yani if these things happen, you have to take the purificatory bath. It's called as ghusl is known as purificatory bath. A normal bath might be just you going to the what do you call it, bathroom, and just washing your body without maybe washing your hair, yani just this part of your body. That's a normal bath. But purificatory bath is known as ghusl. It has a different meaning into it. It is more of, we can say, spiritual type of bath, where you have to cleanse yourself because you are in a state of impurity. You're not pure at that time because of these 6 things. Amongst these 6 things, 3 are special for women or the female side. It's specifically matters that concern them. For example, periods. Men don't get periods, so that's specifically for them. Nifas and also al-wilada, giving birth. Number 1, now 3 are common to men and women, and 3 are specifically for only women. Number 1 is meeting of the 2 circumcised parts, that is known as, if you explain it, it's called sexual intercourse. The question might come, what is the level of saying that it's a sexual intercourse? Sorry, we have to talk very clearly. Is even if the tip had entered, just by that already necessitates for you to take a bath. I don't know if we are on the same page here. Is it clearly understood? You don't need to be having it like the whole intercourse where you are enjoying it for hours or whatever, or for minutes, whichever it is. All right. So even by just the tip entering yani your spouse, that itself is enough for it to necessitate for you to take a bath. I don't know if you're together here now. Is it clearly understood? So number one, that necessitates you to take we are in ghusl. There are 6 things which necessitate to take a bath. So because you are in a major ritual, this is known as major ritual bath. The first thing that necessitates for you to take this type of bath is if you had sexual intercourse, and we explained that it is, even if just by you entering just the tip and that's it, and you didn't continue, it also counts as you have had sexual intercourse. Number 2 is emission of semen, regardless of quantity, color, cause, state, awake, asleep, or path of exit. So either you're asleep, you're awake, you're doing the sexual, you are sexually active, yani you're in the state of doing intercourse and all that. The emission of semen already necessitates for you to take a purificatory, yani major ritual bath, which is known as ghusl. We'll explain how ghusl is done. I will simplify it so that we can be done with it once and for all. Number 3 is death, except for martyrs whose bodies are not ritually washed before burial. So if a person dies, that's why we have ghusl. When a person dies, do we go and bury them directly? La. Except who? The shaheed, the one who was killed in the battlefield. They are buried with their clothes and their blood with it, the way they are. Allahu Akbar. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us the best of ending. Ameen. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept those who have passed, who have died as shuhada from our brothers and sisters in different places, specifically also now in Gaza. Please remember them in dua. Whatever they're going through is not a small thing. It's a very severe calamity, where now they're being punished by not being given access to food. They're being starved to death. May Allah grant them ease and open ways of victory for them. Ameen. We are done with the 3 that concern both male and female. Number 1, we said what? Sexual intercourse. Number 2, we said emission of semen. Number 3 is death. This concerns both male and female. When we talked about emission of semen, why did we say it concerns both male and female? Even females can emit what you call semen without sexual intercourse, or maybe even while they're asleep, having something known as wet dreams. The adults will understand it better. 3 now specifically concern, or these are specific to women. Number 1 is menstruation, and it's known as al-hayd or hayd. Blood exiting from a woman who has reached 9 years of age plus. So hayd is also known as menses, the monthly cycle that the sisters get. May Allah make it easy for them. That is that necessitates for them to take a purificatory, major ritual bath. Without them taking a bath, if she's your spouse, you're not allowed to be intimate with her. It's haram for you to be intimate with her until she takes a bath, even if she's finished her menses. Yes, very important. Number 2 that concerns females only is it's known as postnatal bleeding. Postnatal bleeding, which is also known in the Arabic term as an-nifas. Who can tell me what most postnatal bleeding is? Raise your hand. After what? Yes. It's immediately after a woman gives birth. Yes. It's called nifas. That's the time. Okay. Number 3 is childbirth, and that is known wilada, necessitates ghusl if accompanied by any wetness, and also if dry, according to the sounder opinion. Are we together? Some women can give birth, and this has covered up the part that even if she gives birth without having wetness, yani the blood coming out, because as Al-Akh mentioned here, and nifas is the blood, the postnatal bleeding is after giving birth. But a woman might, you never know, there might be a situation where she can give birth without discharges from it. Can happen. There are many scenarios. You understand? For example, it's not the topic of it, I'm just giving an example. In a madhab where how long should a woman wait after she... No. I remember when we were studying this, I'm trying to recall it, is that was it that a woman can remain pregnant? I'm not saying that it's normal, maybe can be one of the cases or something, can be maybe pregnant for the next 2 years. This is things concerning talaq and how to do iddah and all that. When we get to it, I'll explain it in depth. There is a mother that says you have to wait 4 years if a woman might give birth after 4 years of not being with a husband, for example. There's a case of this sort. We'll get into it when it's the time for it. So these are cases that can happen, but the ulama have covered up in the sense of doing qiyas of it. When we get into the topic of nikah and then we come to talaq, that's the next stage of when we finish with tahara, when we finish with salah and janazah and all that, that's when we'll get into the topic of talaq. Inshallah, we hope to open it and study it better, inshallah. It's a bit confusing, and needs a lot of attention to it. When it comes the time for it, we'll try to simplify it and see how we can make it easier, bi'idhnillah. Now we need to understand, we have understood two topics. We have finished 2 topics already. 1, nullifiers of wudu. 2, what necessitates ghusl, the major ritual bath, major ritual bath, which is known as ghusl. We mentioned there are 6 things that necessitates that. We've mentioned 6 things that nullify your wudu, and now we're getting into what are the obligatory actions of doing ghusl. Why are we mentioning obligatory actions, and then we will also mention the sunnah of ghusl? Meaning, if you have left the sunnah, your ghusl is still valid on this one. That's why it's divided, so that you know this is mandatory when doing ghusl. Are we together? Sometimes I've had many cases, and many brothers and sisters might not know, and this case is very common. They don't know how to do ghusl properly, and they might have been taught something that ghusl is done like this, which in reality it's not. Maybe they didn't understand it well, and this is very important. I've summarized it well, and inshallah we will we'll start that right now, inshallah. So obligation of ghusl, we'd say 3. There are 3 actions, or 3 actions are obligatory for ghusl to be valid. Bismillah.
وفرائض الغسل 3 أشياء: النية، وإزالة النجاسة إن كانت على بدنه، وإيصال الماء إلى جميع الشعر والبشرة.
Alright. 3 actions are obligatory for ghusl. Keep this in mind so that tomorrow when you want to do ghusl, you don't get confused. Just 3. 1 is niyyah, an intention. Number 2 is removing any physical impurity. And number 3, delivering water to all hair and skin. So let's start with the niyyah part. Number 1, when we say intentions, to remove, what is the intentions that you have to have? The intention that you have to have is to do what? To remove janaba, either or menstruation or postnatal bleeding. The intention must be made at the very beginning of the first obligatory wash. Are we together here? So before you taking the bath, you have to have the intention. You don't read it out. You have the intention. Why am I taking this major ritual bath? You get it? You don't just shower and say, later on, I've showered I've done ghusl for that reason. La. That niyyah, the intention that you have, oh, I am in the state of janaba. Maybe I was intimate with my spouse, or maybe I woke up, I had a wet dream and all that. So your niyyah is that I'm taking a bath because of this specific reason. For the females, maybe because of hayd and all that, finishing hayd and all that, I'm taking a bath because of that. I don't know if that is clearly understood. So you have to have the intention before taking the first wash. Number 2 is removing any physical impurity from the body. That there is a difference of opinion on whether a single wash suffices for both purification from major hadith or physical impurity. Imam Nawawi says yes, if the impurity is non-physical, otherwise 2 washes are needed. This topic that, let's say if you're washing yourself, you have you become dirty on what do you call let's say you had emitted semen, for example. Maybe it got into your body. So washing it off, even though we say semen is not najis, but it's part of filth that you want to get out of it. Who in his right mind would want to just have semen all over his body? La, it's not normal. Do you get it? Even though it's not najis as mentioned, what we mentioned is the thing that is najis is madhi. Or you were intimate, the other person's fluids are on you and all that, whatever it is, you clean that. That is one of the obligatory actions while doing ghusl. Are we together? The first one we started is a niyyah, then cleaning, removing any physical impurity that is in your body. Number 3 is delivering water to all hair and skin of the entire body. This includes even fine hair or thick braided hair. If water does not reach it without it, then you have to undo it. Visible parts of ears, canals, whatever every part of your body has to be touched with water. So by this being obligatory, this means what you can, if you wanted to do ghusl like this, you put the niyyah that I am in the state of janaba, for example, and I want to get out of the state of janaba, I want to do ghusl. You can take a dive in a swimming pool or an ocean, alright? Because once you take a dive, if you make sure that the water has reached every part of your body. Because if you wear tights, sometimes the water doesn't penetrate through. So just make sure your full body has touched water everywhere, every inch of your body. And you come out, you're done with your ghusl. The question we asked, remember last time, of wudoo, that is, does it suffice? La. But if you make wudoo that you want to get, you're doing wudoo kabisa, and that because you're getting rid of the janaba, then that's a different case. But another scenario, leave out the diving into the water. Even if you stood under a shower, for example, and just wash your body fully, everywhere touched water, every part of your body had touched water, then it's enough. Are we together? But your niyyah has to be in the right place, for the right reason that you're doing the ghusl for. Is it clearly understood? So part of these things, why is it concerning also the sisters, is when a female has long hair, she braids sometimes, if she wants to braid. Due to braiding, maybe water might not touch part of her hair. That's why they have to undo it. But if the braided hair is not tightly braided and all that, if it's a bit loose, then water can enter everywhere. I don't know if we're clearly understood there. Okay, so also for the man who have braided hair, that's what you have to do. But we mentioned that is not common in our society for a normal person, for a normal man to braid the hair. Now we're getting into sunnah of doing ghusl, sunnah of ghusl. You might have learned that ghusl you have to wash the right path, the right side, and then the left side. This is where we're going to understand about that part, inshallah. So we have clearly understood what is obligatory in doing ghusl is three only. Niyyah, removing the what do you call, any physical impurity from your body, and then the fourth one, every part or every inch of your body has to touch water. Are we together? Not by just splashing, just make sure the whole body has touched water, between your thighs, between whatever, everywhere. Are we together? Let me finish with the sunnah, then we can ask. Allah barik. Hey, sunnah of ghusl. Bismillah. Ustad Mu'adh.
وسننه 5 أشياء: التسمية والوضوء قبله، وإمرار اليد على الجسد، والمولادة والموالاة، وتقديم اليمنى على اليسرى.
Alright. There are 5 sunnahs of making ghusl. Simplifying it, number 1 is saying Bismillah at the start. Number 2, performing a complete wudoo before the ghusl. The intention of this wudoo depends on whether there is also a minor ritual or a minor ritual impurity. Number 3, passing the hand over, rubbing or dalk all accessible parts of the body. Number 4, maintaining continuous succession, muwala, between washing body parts. Number 5, starting with the right side of the body before the left. Other sunnahs include washing 3 times, tathlith, and running fingers through the hair. So let me simplify it. We have read this sunnah, extra acts of sunnah while doing ghusl. Let's combine the obligatory and the sunnah actions of doing wudu, so that we can just talk about how to properly do wudu the way the Prophet ﷺ did. We finish it at that. That is how I want to summarize it. Alright? The first thing you do is, what do you do? Intention. That's the most important thing. Bismillah, the second thing. You clean your part where there's any type of impurity. And then take a full wudu. Number 4. Number 5. You wash your right side. They say either three times. It's tathlith, as Imam Nawawi explains. You can do that 3 times, and then wash your left side, and then wash your full body. Simple as that. So ghusl is not complicated. All right? I think it's clearly understood. Let's repeat once again. We started with the niyyah, intention. Said Bismillah. Here, mind you, we've combined the obligatory actions and what? And the sunnah. But if you just did the obligatory actions, your wudu is valid, is enough. So not wudu, your ghusl. Are we together? So now we've understood that this is how ghusl is done. We start with niyyah, Bismillah, you do what? Remove the impurity from you. Do a complete wudu. And then after that, wash your right side, and then the left side, and then just finish up with your whole body. And then also make sure, and the Musannif here explains that, wash, you can, at the last part where he says, include washing 3 times, and running fingers through the hair, like massaging through the hair. Sometimes there might be a barrier which we can't see between your scalp, the hair where it is. We might have a barrier, so it's important, make sure that the water enters every inch part of your body. Are we together? So we're done with the ghusl. What nullifies wudu? We have almost covered 3-4 topics today, which for us, this is because it's just done as a durus here, but for us, when we were in the university, I think it took us like 2-3 weeks just to do a small topic. Wudu, tahara was a whole semester, so you can imagine. So here it's to simplify, to get the basic knowledge which you need, because tomorrow if you're somewhere where you don't know any rulings about different, you don't know anyone who knows the rulings of your of tahara and all that, you've gotten the basics of it, the normal things that you need to learn about how to do the wudu and ghusl, inshallah. The next topic that we are to, I think those are the ones that were left. ايش اللي بقي؟ ايه استاذ معاذ؟ ايه next what is next? When we we mentioned that anything that comes out from your private parts, anything that comes out from your private parts, we mentioned that nullifies your wudu. Part of it is also air. Before we going to the I think it's Sunnah al-wudu, صح? Not Sunnah al-wudu, what are we getting into now? Now? This is like around 15, 20, right?
17.
Huh? 17. Those are the Sunnah types of ghusl, the reason why you should be doing ghusl. But before we get into that, I want to mention one or two hadiths, dalil about this topic that we have taken, which is important also. عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا تقبل صلاة من أحدث حتى يتوضأ. قال رجل من حضرموت ما الحدث يا أبا هريرة؟ قال فساء أو ضرات عفوا أو ضرات. On the authority of Abu Hurairah رضي الله عنه قال, the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم says, the prayer of one of who has hadath, yani hadath, is not accepted until he performs wudu. A man from Hadramawt asked Abu Hurairah radhiyallahu anhu, what is hadath? Abu Hurairah radhiyallahu anhu replied by saying, it's releasing wind, yani with sound, or passing wind silently, be it's loud or silently, that breaks your wudu. Another hadith is of Ali radhiyallahu anhu, قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم العينان وكاء الساء فإذا نامت العينان انحل الوكاء. An authority of Ali ibn Abi Talib رضي الله عنه قال, the Prophet ﷺ said here that the eyes are the strings of the backside, if you understand what I mean by that, the back private part. So whoever sleeps, let him perform ablution. So if your eyes close, wind can come out of you without you even knowing, which is very important to take, which is very important for people to take this thing seriously, inshallah. On the hadith, when the dalil of those, where we mentioned one of the things that nullifies your wudu, we mentioned that whoever touches his private parts. There's a hadith of Habiba رضي الله عنها قالت عنها أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال من مس ذكره فليتوضأ. The Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم in a hadith, in the authority of Habiba bint Jahsh رضي الله عنها, the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم says, whoever touches his private part, let him perform ablution. Narrated by Imam Ahmad, Ibn Majah and At-Tirmidhi. So these hadiths are proof that whatever we talked about, you know, in our deen, whatever we're learning or whatever we put in action has to have reference to it, has to have dalil. We don't just wake up one day and say, you know, I want to do ibadah a certain way, I want to do wudu a certain way. People are starting from the hands to do wudu. Now I'll start from the feet and come go do my wudu in a reverse way. Like, it's not allowed. So we follow it. قال الله and قال الرسول. You understand? Next is the sunans. Okay, bismillah. So now we'll finish up with the last topic, which is Allah musta'an. Hey, bismillah, let's continue.
والاغتسالات المسنونة 17 غسلة: غسل الجمعة وغسل العيدين والاستسقاء.
حسبك. So the sunnah bath, which for these reasons it's sunnah to take a bath. Number one, for both the Eid, Salat al-Eid, we have Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha. Number 2 is Al-Yawm al-Jum'ah, the bath which you take on the day of Jum'ah before Salah. Number 3 is Salatul Istisqa. What is Salatul Istisqa? Salatul Istisqa. Yes, when there is a drought, when you want to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for rain, that bath, that salah, afwan, salah is known as Salatul Istisqa. Number 4. Let's go 3 so that we can finish. Okay.
والخسوف والكسوف والغسل من غسل الميت.
All right. We're done. Number 3 already. Huh? 2 Eids, Jumu'ah. The third one is what? Salatul Istisqa. Very good. So number 3 is what? Number 4, 5 and 6. The Muslim says wal khusuf wal kusuf. We have 2 types of eclipse. We have lunar eclipse and solar eclipse. So before the salah, this is mentioning it, that is sunnah. The other one is وَالْغُسْلُ مَنْ غَسَلَ الْمَيِّتِ. For the one who has washed the deceased. It's also sunnah to take a bath. Are we together? So those are 6. There should be 17. Bismillah.
وغسل الكافر إذا أسلم والمجنون والمغمى عليه إذا أفاق.
وغسل الكافر إذا أسلم. When a person becomes a Muslim, as a kafir who reverted to Islam, we call them reverts, we don't call them converts, because the Prophet ﷺ said كل ابن آدم يولد على الفطرة أو كما قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم فأبواه يهودانه أو ينصرانه أو يمجسانه. Every humankind or every son of Adam is born a Muslim, yani in the right path. So their father or his or her father or mother will either make that child a Jew or a Christian, أو يمجساني, or make him a Majus. Majus are the ones who worship fire. Understand? So when a person becomes a Muslim, we call them a revert, we don't call them converts, because they've come back to their original religion. You understand? So وغسل الكافر, we say that one. The other one is والمجنون والمغمى عليه إذا أفاق. When a person who has lost his consciousness, or he became mental and became then back to normal, or والمغمى عليه, the one who has fainted. You become unconscious, you don't know what's going on. So anything that makes a person unconscious, when he comes back, taking a bath is advisable, it's sunnah. والغسل عند إرادة الإحرام. And when you want to be in the state of ihram, taking a shower at that time is also sunnah. Let's go. والغسل
عند الإحرام ولدخول مكة.
Alright. والغسل لدخول Makkah, when a person wants to enter Makkah, or before entering, it's also part. Some of the ulama say it's sunnah. وللوقوف بعرفة, if you were doing the ibad of Hajj. I think you guys were here when we were doing the Hajj workshop. For those who were here, they remember how we explained Hajj is done. It was a whole workshop that we did of Hajj before people were traveling for Hajj. So one of the ibadas, or the main ibadah of Hajj, is Arafah, and standing in the day of Arafah. If you don't get Arafah, your Hajj is not valid. So it's sunnah also to take shower before it. Walil mabiti bi Muzdalifa, and the stay in Muzdalifa. Muzdalifa is where you stay overnight before going to Mina from Arafah. So when you're in Arafah, when you want to go to Mina, you come out in the evening of Yawm al-Arafah, you go to Muzdalifa, sleep overnight, and then in the morning hours before sunrise you leave, or to Mina to go and throw stones for Jamarat and all that. So also the stay in Jamarat, it's advisable to take a shower. وَلِلرَّمِي الْجِمَارِ الثَّلَاثَةِ في أيام التشريق الثلاثة فيغتسل للرمي كل يوم منها غسل أم رمى جمهور العقبة في يوم النحر فلا يغتسل له لزمانه من الغسل. And also when you want to go and stone, the throwing of stones in Jamarat, also it's advisable to take a bath. Continue. والغسل
بعد الجمار. بعد الجمار
للطواف. Continue from للطواف.
وللطواف وللسعي.
You're muted.
وللطواف وللسعي ولدخول مدينة رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم.
Alright, and the last one is mentioned is tawafi, before doing tawaf. First of all, you're not allowed to do tawaf without wudoo itself. If you're not in the state of wudoo, you have to go and do wudoo and come and do tawaf. So also it's advisable to take shower before, a bath before doing tawaf, or sa'i, Safa and Marwa. And then also another one that you have to, it's also advisable to take a bath is before entering Madinah Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which is the town or the city of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And that's where we will exactly, alhamdulillah, today we managed to finish by 8. Shukran. That's where we will end today's lesson. Inshallah, in the next lesson we will cover up how to do al-masah al-khuffayn. Al-masah al-khuffayn is wiping over your socks. We call it socks now, but khuffayn can also mean if you're wearing something made of leather, or taqiyasan on wiping on top of your socks is the one we usually wear. When can you do it? How is it done? When does it end? The time of it. It's also important. We will start there as our new topic, inshallah, in the next class. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it easy for us to learn and benefit ourselves and our loved ones, inshallah. I would advise for the brothers who are coming, if you can come with your family members, or the female family members, bring them, they also benefit. They miss a lot. By just sitting at home, shaitan takes a lot of their time in scrolling on social media. But imagine you coming here, you're getting the thawab of sitting in a dars. They are also benefiting and also getting the thawab. Especially, I think after this, can I have the book, please? I think the end part where nearby the end part, we're also heading. We're almost heading to obligatory actions of. After this, we're getting into tayammum. The last topics is about hayd, which is very important for the sisters. So for them to be here physically and learning it, it's very important. They'll understand what is allowed to do, what is not allowed to be done when they're in the state of menstruation, or when they're in the state of hayd. There are some things which they're told you're not allowed to do. Oh no, nothing, which they are allowed to do. Do you understand? Some don't even make dua when in the state of hayd, which is wrong. They're told, oh, you cannot do that. No, she can. She can do dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What she is not allowed to do is to pray, to fast, to hold the Quran. And there is an ikhtilaf on how, if a person is a student, is she allowed to hold the Quran either between a barrier or not? Do you understand? So it's very important for them to learn these things. So inshallah, if you guys can come with your family, it's better, so that they can benefit also. Very few mosques are actually doing whatever we are trying to do here. Muhadara is one thing. Durus is a different thing. Following a book and learning lessons is a totally different thing. Muhadara can come and speak about a topic, a random topic, and then maybe I don't come back and give another lecture maybe until another month, or maybe I come every week, but I give a random topic. That is more for your state of iman and all that. Khutbah should be doing that also. Durus once a while, yes, but this is very important. Why? It's because you follow a certain book, you learn about your deen, how to do these specific ibadas, how to do tahara, etc., and so on and so forth, religiously, step by step. And I have noticed many mosques are really failing when they don't have these things in their mosque, because people need them. Basic things, we need basic knowledge. Sometimes something you might get from this sitting, you have never heard of it before in your life, and you've been a Muslim for the past 25, 30, 40 years. Are we together on this? So mosques have to do these things. It's very important. Fiqhi lessons, aqeedah lessons. You understand? Aqeedah lessons, fiqhi lessons, and then slowly you introduce other stuff such as private classes for maybe lugha and all those things. So people who are serious would come any other time. So mosques have to be doing this. Mosques are not only for salah. Salah is part of it, and then learning also is part of it. Where were the Sahabas learning their deen? See, in the mosque of the Prophet ﷺ, under the Prophet ﷺ, right? Did they have classes somewhere else? La. Until today, when we were in Medina, we used to go and study in the Prophet's Mosque. We used to go through books. A whole book Sheikh has started. We go through him every day after Maghrib, for example. I used to like to go to the lectures after Maghrib till Isha. We have after Asr other shuyukh, but mine I used to like to go to the lectures of Sheikh Abdul Razak al-Badr. You understand? So we used to go book after book. Once he finishes a book, there's another book he'll start. If either it's hadith book, either fiqhi book, either a hadith book set in the topics of fiqh. For example, one of the books that we did was Umdatul Ahkam. Umdatul Ahkam is a book of hadith, but set in what? In categories of fiqhi topics. So tahara, salah, like that. It was very good. And this also should be a waking up call for those parents who have kids. Take your kids to go and study deen. Because our communities, our society needs it. There are very few who have gone to go and study deen. Everyone, you ask a child now. You want to know that we are failing as an ummah? Look, ask your child right now. What do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be an astronaut. I want to be a doctor. Whom do you hear saying, I want to be an alim, I want to be a sheikh? Do you see where we are failing as an ummah? We have made them think that being a person who is knowledgeable in deen in our society is a very normal thing or a very small thing. La. And this is because of how people treat the people of ilm and how the people of deen and the people who are the imams and the shuyukhs and all that. The kids learn this. The people see this. People even see how people are paid when they are being given a job, for example, in a masjid or a madrasa and all that. A person is ready to spend $250,000 in school, but when he comes to madrasa, you tell them per month is 10,000, he wants to bargain that. Do you understand where the hypocrisy is to us? Where we are failing as an ummah? This shaitan playing with our minds. And it's also the society that we're living in, the secular part has taught, and it's part of the things that we learned, it's an outside topic, but it's very important. When we were learning something called Madhahib al-Tayarat, one of the things that the kuffar have put in their plans is that to make the Muslims, not take their studying their religion as a serious thing, and also to look down upon their teachers who teach deen. And that's why you'll see that the least paid, they're taken as ustad. The Prophet ﷺ said what? خَيْرُكُمْ مَنْ تَعَلَّمَ الْقُرْآنَ وَعَلَّمَهُ. The best amongst you is the one who learns the Quran and teaches it. And you come and tell me the doctor is better than the one who's teaching Quran. La. He has his place in the society. But the Prophet ﷺ, did he say خَيْرُكُمْ مَنْ تَعَلَّمَ الطِّبْ? Yani the best of you is the one who studied being a doctor? La. Take your kids to go and study their medicine if they want, but they still study their deen. How many people do we have? I remember last Ramadan we were leading Taraweeh and Tahajjud in my former mosque that I was in. One of the ones who was leading Salah was a doctor, and he's a Hafiz. Who told you can't do both? It's the limitation that the kuffar are putting on you. So make sure if you're taking a kid to school, every day they have Quran classes. Because you've given them 9 hours of going to study their secular. You can't give them 1 or 1.5 hours of Quran. You're giving excuses, I'm a joker, they're tired, they have to sleep. La. They're still energetic, they can do it. See how we Muslims have remained behind. You take your kid 9 hours being in school, and then after they come out of school, he's tired. But before getting to going back to sleep or anything, maybe that kid has a tuition teacher coming to teach what? Again, whatever he learned the whole day. Isn't it enough for them to study the 9 hours? What is this school doing that the kid has to get more extra tuitions? When are they going to study their deen? And then you see parents pushing the kids to go in madrasa only on weekends. And you expect them to be huffaz of Quran, and then you blame the madrasa that you guys are not working well. Your kid is not getting number 1 in school, and your kid is going every day 9 hours in school. He's getting maybe number 15, number 20, and you expect him to be a hafiz by just coming to madrasa on Saturday and Sunday from morning until even before dhuhr. غير معقول يا أخي. Why are we failing as an ummah? This is a very big challenge that we have. Today, if you see a young child or a young boy, maybe baligh, is leading salah, don't you feel as a parent, mashallah, I wish my kid would do that? Yes, your kid can do that. He has the brain. But you as a parent, you're the one who is holding him back. Because you've given more importance to school, secular, and less of the deen. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us the best in this dunya and akhirah. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم آت نفوسنا تقواها زكها أنت خير من زكاها أنت وليها ومولاها. اللهم اغفر لنا ولوالدينا وارحمهما كما ربونا صغارا. اللهم اغفر لنا ولوالدينا وارحمهما كما ربونا صغارا. اللهم ارحمهم فإنهم مرحمون. اللهم اكرمهم فإنهم مكرمون. اللهم اغفر لنا ولوالدينا وارحمهما كما ربونا صغارا. اللهم اغفر لنا وللمسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات إنك قريب مجيب الدعوات. اللهم يا منزل الكتاب ويا مجري السحاب ويا هازم الأحزاب انصر إخواننا المستضعفين في فلسطين. اللهم كن لهم عونا ونصيرا ومؤيدا وظهيرا. اللهم عليك باليهود والنصارى ومن عاونهم فإنهم لا يعجزونك. اللهم شتت شملهم. اللهم مزق جمعهم. اللهم أسقط طائراتهم. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. وصلى اللهم وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين. سبحانك اللهم بحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. For those who had questions to ask, you can join the group, and then Al-Akh will share my number with you. I can be able to reply you inshallah in private because of the time. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. See you next Sunday. Shukran.